polling stations are starting to close in the U.S. presidential election, with Republican President Donald Trump and his Democratic challenger, former Vice President Joe Biden, waiting for officials to release the first vote counts in their highly contested race for a four-year term in the White House. As polls closed in the Midwestern state of Indiana and neighboring Kentucky in early evening, people were continuing to vote along the eastern seaboard and throughout more western time zones in the United States. They were part of the tens of millions of people who stood in lines across the country throughout the day to cast their ballots on Election Day. More than 101 million other people voted early in recent weeks, partly to avoid coming face to face with others on Election Day amid the unchecked coronavirus pandemic in the United States. The early vote count focus is on two Atlantic coastal states, Florida, which is Mr. Trump's adopted home state, and North Carolina. Both states Trump won in his 2016 upset victory over Democrat Hillary Clinton, but where late polls show Trump and Biden locked in tight contests. Analysts say the two states are essential for Trump to win again if he's to claim a second term and avoid becoming the third U.S. president in the last 4 decades to lose a bid for re-election. A victory for Biden in either or both of the states would significantly increase his chances of winning the presidency on his third try. A political fixture in Washington, Biden lost bids for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1988 and in 2008. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says a Category 4 Hurricane Eta, termed extremely dangerous, made landfall just south of Puerto Cabezas, Nicaragua, bringing life-threatening storm surges, catastrophic winds, and flash flooding over portions of Central America. Eta is considered an extremely dangerous storm with sustained wind speeds of 220 kilometers per hour. The storm is expected to move slowly through the region over the next several days. The 2020 Atlantic hurricane season has been exceptionally busy, tying with the year 2005 for the busiest season ever. Both years have had 28 storms so far, but with 2 months left in 2020, it looks like this year could end up surpassing the earlier record. The U.S. State Department has cleared the potential sale of 4 U.S.-made aerial drones to Taiwan in a formal notification sent to Congress. The move is the last step before finalizing a weapons sale, a measure that's likely to anger China. The $600 million deal would be the first such sale since U.S. policy on the export of drone technology was loosened by the Trump administration. The U.S. State Department's formal notification gives Congress 30 days to object to any sales, which is unlikely given broad bipartisan support for the defense of Taiwan. Security forces surrounded the homes of Ivory Coast's opposition leaders on Tuesday after they rejected the re-election of President Alassane Ouattara and vowed to set up a transitional government. Ouattara won a third term by a landslide in Saturday's vote, which was boycotted by the opposition. The opposition claimed that by running for a third term in office, Ouattara had conducted an electoral coup in a nation with a constitutional two-term presidential limit. Standoff has pitched Ivory Coast deeper into a 3-month crisis that has claimed several dozen lives, triggering appeals for calm and dialogue from the West African ECOWAS bloc, the United Nations, the African nation, and the European Union. Hours after the 78-year-old Ouattara was declared winner of the presidential election with more than 94% of the vote, the Ivorian Justice Minister accused the opposition of, quote, acts of assault and plotting against the authority of the state. The public prosecutor has been asked to investigate. The Justice Minister has warned that all options are on the table. Ouattara's landslide in Saturday's vote had been widely expected. 2 opposition leaders had called for a boycott and a civil disobedience campaign. At least 30 people died in protests before Saturday's vote.